On a Friday morning, my wife informed me, with unsettling calmness, that she would be going out after work and might not return until the next day. Her words were rehearsed, her tone unwavering, as if she had already decided that nothing I said could change her mind. She assured me that she still loved me, but her gaze betrayed a restlessness, a wandering desire. This was my first encounter with infidelity, though I'd seen it in movies, read about it in books, and overheard whispers of it in gossip. Now it was no longer a distant concept, but my reality. My wife spoke eloquently about how I was strong enough to accept this, how life was too short for monogamy, how society's expectations of love were outdated. She assured me that if I allowed her this freedom, she would be even more attentive to my needs. She rattled off cliché after cliché, that she had no choice, that she could do as she pleased with her body, that she deserved to explore different experiences. Her words blurred into meaningless noise. The idea that I was allowing this was laughable. I could have reacted in rage. I could have become consumed by the need for vengeance. But instead, as she leaned in to kiss me goodbye, I recalled a lesson from Melville's Bartleby, the scrivener. I'd rather not. Her mouth fell open in shock. She had expected anger, pleading anything but this. My refusal to engage threw her off balance. She demanded that I respect her choices, accused me of immaturity and resentment, and then delivered an ultimatum. Accept my decision or do without me. I'd rather not. A crack appeared in her composure. She faltered. For the first time, uncertainty flickered in her eyes. She shifted from confrontation to negotiation, offering to return home after her first night out instead of staying away the whole weekend. I'd rather not. Frustration crept into her voice as she threatened divorce, warning that she would take my house, my money, my trust fund, that she would remain in my bed with other men, and I would pay for it. I'd rather not. That night she didn't return, nor did she the next afternoon. It wasn't until Sunday evening, as the sun was setting, that she finally dragged herself home, looking exhausted and disheveled. She dumped her bag by the patio, where I was grilling a ribeye. I didn't turn to acknowledge her. "I suppose you'd rather not kiss me now, huh?" she muttered. I kept my focus on the grill. "Would you mind cooking one for me?" "I'd rather not." Frustrated, she snapped, "Are you ever going to say anything else?" I turned to face her, but before I could respond, she sighed. "No, don't say it. I get it. That's my punishment." Silence. She spent the next few days trying to get a reaction out of me, but I met every attempt with the same response. On Friday, when she arrived home to find me dressed and preparing to go out, panic flashed across her face. "Where are we going?" she asked eagerly. Then, noticing the lack of dinner on the table, her smile faded. "Wait, you're not taking me with you, are you?" "I'd rather not." I left. I had dinner with my parents, who were visiting for the weekend. They knew about the situation and made no attempt to pry. We enjoyed a peaceful evening, a welcome contrast to the chaos at home. When I returned, my wife was waiting for me, eyes red from crying. The next morning she made breakfast and sat across from me, hesitant. "Last night was awful," she admitted. "I was home alone, and all I could think about was you being out with someone else. It made me realize how you must have felt when I left that weekend." She hesitated, then asked, "Were you with another woman?" Technically, I had been with my mother, who is most certainly a woman. So I answered honestly, "Yes." Her face twisted with jealousy, but she remained silent, taking in the weight of her own actions. That evening, as I dressed for dinner, she watched me in awe. "You look incredible," she whispered. "Any woman would be lucky to have you." Then, cautiously, she asked, "I don't suppose you'd tell me who you're meeting?" "I'd rather not." She sighed, her expression filled with regret. "I know I made a terrible mistake," she admitted. "I let my curiosity destroy what we had. But I need you to understand, I never actually slept with anyone." She then recounted her disastrous weekend, a cheap date who made her pay for everything, a drunken coworker who passed out before anything could happen, a near hookup with a married man, an encounter with an older gentleman who turned out to be a grandfather. Every moment had been a stark reminder of what she had thrown away. "I left that night determined to cheat on you," she confessed. "But the universe wouldn't let me. It kept showing me how wrong I was. I realized that no man could ever compare to you." Tears welled in her eyes. "Please, let me stay your wife. Let's move past this." I studied her carefully. I felt pity. I felt detachment. But I no longer felt love. I'd rather not. Epilogue: I never told her that the other woman I spent time with was my mother. I never confirmed whether I believed her version of events. I didn't rage. I didn't argue. I simply existed in a way that made it clear she no longer held power over me. She tried to win me back, but I remained distant, answering only with nods and shakes of my head. Eventually, she tired of fighting a battle she had already lost. One day, she packed her things and left. We never divorced. Maybe one day I'll make it official, but for now, I'd rather not.